the Hit Squad, Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney. This segment brought to you by Metrogistics, vehicle transportation solutions delivered. If you're moving and you're thinking about dragging your car behind on a trailer, don't do it. Talk to Metrogistics, www.metrogistics.com. I guarantee you we could probably beat the price of buying a U-Haul trailer and putting your car on it. Top of that, it's fully covered. Metrogistics will ship your car anywhere in the lower 48. And of course, we're going to be talking a little local MMA, Shamrock Fighting Championships Pro MMA happening this weekend, June 15th at River City Casino. What a venue. You just saw Dirk Bentley there. Talk about what fans can expect just from the venue alone.
The venue alone, it's first class, man. I mean, the lighting is amazing. The sound system, they said they spent $1 million just.
That's what someone told me. $1 million on the sound system.
They have an LED board, 12x8 on 4 corners. It's beautiful, man. It's first class. It's the nicest venue in St. Louis, under 2,000 people. You heard it. I went on record to say that.
Wow.
It was one of the best places I've ever seen a concert, and I highly recommend for anybody, if you're really into concerts and you're into venue, into nice venues.
Intimate?
Very intimate. Sounds great. Everything was great. The service was really good. And now this weekend, we've got mixed martial arts there, and I tell you what, it's going to be for fireworks.
It will be for fireworks, and it's going to be an interesting main event. Adam Cella, of course, coming off The Ultimate Fighter. He made a name a little bit for himself in the UFC. Got basically, I don't think they count. I think one of them counts, but 2 UFC fights. You know, he got to go against Uriah Hall and, of course, Thor in Sweden, so that's great experience. And, of course, we talked about this before. They sent him down to the minor leagues. He's going to be needing to get about 4 more fights before he gets another crack at the UFC, correct?
Basically, you know, I mean, the thing is he's got to get on a 5-fight win streak is basically what it is. So he needs about 5 wins, you know, and he's fighting a really tough character on Saturday night, man. Justin DeMoney. He is, I think Justin's 17-6 as a professional mixed martial arts. Super tough guy. You never see Justin in a boring fight. One of the tougher guys out there. And I know Justin's on a 3-fight win streak on his way to the UFC. Actually just, you know, told Rob Donaker that just the other day, the matchmaker for Shamrock FC, and said, you know what, 2 more fights and I'm in. He's got a 5-fight win streak with a record of 17-6. I mean, this guy's the real deal, man. So I mean, it's going to be a great fight on Saturday night.
Absolutely, and of course, we got Justin DeMoney on the phone right now. Justin, you there with us?
Hey, I'm here.
All right, man. Talk about how excited you are to be fighting. You know, of course, it's the 15th anniversary for Shamrock Fighting Championships Pro MMA. But how excited are you to be fighting against Adam Cella? And like you said, it sounds like you're at least 1 or 2 wins away from being in the UFC yourself.
Yeah, you know, I try to stay in touch with Joe Silva as much as possible because that's every fighter's dream, you know, to make it to the big show. And so I've stayed in contact with him to find out where I was, gauge my distance, and it seems now he thinks with 2 more wins, you know, reputable wins, I could be on my way. And Adam Cella is definitely going to be a reputable win. You know, he's just coming off The Ultimate Fighter. So I'm very excited about the fight. I'm very happy that Jesse and his guys at his company gave me the opportunity to come down here and take this fight. So I just want to say thank you for that first and foremost, and excited to be here.
Well, we're looking forward to having you on Saturday night. And tell me a little bit about like what your plans are, Justin. I know that you're formerly a striker and a good wrestler at that. What is your plans for Saturday night, and how are you looking to finish things?
Well, for this fight, I tried to change things up. You know, I like you said, I was formerly a striker. This time, for this fight, I tried to work on more of being just an all-around fighter. Try to mix things up in every aspect of my game: my kicking, my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling, my boxing. So I think you guys look to see a little bit of everything out of me.
That's good.
Absolutely. Now, you're quite a character. I've known you at some weigh-ins, have had some interesting things. I think you pushed Jesse. Believe me, I wanted to push him a few times myself. But Junior Silva, can Adam expect a kiss the way Junior Silva got one?
You never know what's going to happen. It all depends. Don't miss the weigh-ins, I can tell you that much.
Oh, I like it.
I like it. Justin DeMoney, he's going to be fighting Adam Cella in the main event on June 15th at the 15-year anniversary for Shamrock Fighting Championships. Now, what do you know about Adam's style? Have you really looked at him and, or do you just kind of, you got your style and you're going to see how it goes for you? Do you really research your opponents, or do you just kind of do what you do?
I have. I've looked at him a lot, and to be honest with you, I don't really fear him in any way, shape, or form. So,
wow,
I just don't.
You're just gonna go out there and you're gonna impose your will on him, I guess, huh?
I kind of feel that way, yeah.
Okay, Justin, I got one last question for you here. And if you have one last thing to say to Adam, what would it be before Saturday night?
You won't need to take any sleeping medication Saturday night.
You're going to put him to sleep then, huh?
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time on here. Thanks, Justin, for being with us.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Jesse.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Justin DeMoney now, he's a guy that you fought in Strikeforce.
I did. Put about 7 stitches in my ear.
Oh.
I put 7 stitches in my ear. I tell you what, he's a super tough guy. He's got a record of 17-6 at this point. Our fight, he took me down a couple times. I was lucky enough to actually catch him in a submission.
You got him in a Kimura, correct?
Nope, actually caught him in a guillotine.
Guillotine.
I did.
All right.
And I tell you, he's a super tough guy. He's beat Jesse Sanders, who's been in the UFC. He beat Chuck Parmalee. A lot of guys around here know Chuck Parmalee because he beat Lucas Lopes. He's beat Rocky Vircher. Justin's beat those guys, and he's a gamer. There's one thing about Justin is no matter what, he's going to come out and he's going to fight hard. And I knew that going into it. What it's going to come down to here is I really do believe it's going to come down to wrestling, because Justin is a better wrestler than Justin. Or Justin is a better wrestler than Adam, I should say. I'm sorry. And I tell you, they're striking. Adam is a better striker, but Justin's had a ton more fights than Adam Cella. So we're going to see. It'll be an interesting fight. The jiu-jitsu is, I would say probably about the same.
He referred to himself, yes, I'm formerly a striker, is what he said.
A lot of guys,
He's
what
changed, huh?
That's what's great about mixed martial arts is you go back and you work on your weaknesses.
I thought that was interesting.
He was, I think, a 6-time Golden Gloves champion. So he's a 6-time Golden Gloves champion. He's also a good wrestler. So, now he's like, okay, I was formerly a striker. Maybe I was formerly a striker because he's going to be working on more of his jiu-jitsu or more on his wrestling.
And that's what he wants to be known as now.
That's
kind of a ground guy, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it's interesting, and I can't pump this enough. If you want to see tomorrow's stars in the UFC, go to this. Right. River City Casino, June 15th. Go to any of the Shamrock Fighting Championships Pro MMA, because if not both of these guys, will be in the UFC. Adam Cella and Justin DeMoney.
I agree. And there's so many guys that came through the system, the Shamrock system. If you look at Justin Lawrence came through, you look at Tyron Woodley came through when we did undercard with Strikeforce. There's anybody that's actually went there, and it's going to be interesting, fun night. And it's about the experience I really feel with Shamrock as well. It's not just about just the fight. It's a lot of where the superstars are made through St. Louis, but I also feel like it's also an experience of the whole night.
Wanted to get this in. Tyron Woodley taking on Jake Shields. That was Jake Shields, a Strikeforce guy as well. He fought in St. Louis on the Strikeforce card. That'll be a great fight. And I'm excited for it. They had a little clip on ESPN.com. If you're out clicking around, it's still, if you go to the mixed martial arts page, you can, a little thing on Tyron. Great for the Sparks.
I think this is a great fight for Tyron in many ways, because here's the thing: is you're not going to out wrestle Tyron. And
look at him; he looks like he's built.
You're not going to out wrestle Tyron, but at the same time, you've got Jake Shields, who wins most of his fights on wrestling. He's not going to out wrestle Tyron, and Tyron is a really good, strong striker, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Now, the experience is definitely going to go to Jake. But at the same time, you look at athleticism and you look at striking abilities and you look at wrestling. I'm going all those with Tyron Woodley, and I look for Tyron Woodley to knock him out in probably the second round.
Now, real quickly here, of course, all that's going down on Saturday, June 15th, the UFC, the Shamrock Fighting Championships at River Casino. And we've talked about it. It's a mainstream sport now. It's free on Fox, Fuel, FX. Is there any other room for any other leagues? Kickboxing, boxing. Roy or Mayweather would give you 90 million reasons why there is room for boxing. But
I think that actually MMA is making boxing stronger right now. Because they're starting to make them put on some better fights that are going to be viewer friendly, like just good fights in general. Because I love the Gotti Ward days where it wasn't just a boxing match; it's also a fight. So it's like These guys are going, I think it's strengthening boxing. And I say that to a lot of people. They look at me like I'm crazy. I'm a huge boxing fan. And we talked about this last week. I would buy Pacquiao and Mayweather before I would buy John Jones or Anderson Silva. Now, I would say on that fight, I would take it. Now, if it was John Jones and Dan Henderson, I would take Pacquiao and Mayweather.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree. Is there any room for like a Glory? I know you've talked about Glory kickboxing, and
I think there is. I mean,
was surprised kickboxing wasn't more popular in the States.
I think there's a time and place for everything, and MMA is so strong right now. Kickboxing has a tough road to follow. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are diehard kickboxing fans, and I think that they're going to follow it. I'm a kickboxer, and I would say that. And I come back. Now, do I think that there's room for it right now? There is, but I don't look for it to be a huge audience that's just going to go, oh, kickboxing's back. And if there's going to be a league that's going to do it, it's going to be Glory. And they are working really hard at it. It's going to take some time, and it's going to take a ton of money. And I think that if they do that and they put it all in, then they can make it happen.
Absolutely. That's interesting to see. Just talk about what a great workout kickboxing is. I know.
Oh, man, I mean, kickboxing is the toughest workout.
Is that where it all starts for a lot of people? They come in there and
a lot of guys. I mean, they start off with kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, boxing, and then they say, oh, then they get the competition bug. And if they were a high school athlete or something like that, they're thinking, oh, man, I really want to get back in competition. And listen, I don't recommend doing mixed martial arts to anybody unless you're 100% dedicated to it, because it has to be a sport you could do. Now, granted, you could do a mixed martial arts workout. Now, there's a whole different story to that. But at the same time, if you're going to get into mixed martial arts, you're going to do it as an amateur. Get in a correct gym, do it the right way, and train the correct way.
Absolutely. Well, coming up on 101sports.com, we're going to hear from the other half of the main event, Adam Cella on fighting Justin DeMoney, coming up next on 101sports.com.